Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. My name is Jordan. This is your 60-minute yin sequence. I'm so excited that you're here. For tonight's class, we'll be moving through a series of poses inspired by Scorpio season. Scorpio asks us to embrace this season of transformation by maybe fueling the things that balance our fluidity emotionally, mentally, physically. Scorpio is kind of cool because it's a dual element, so a little bit of fire, a little bit of water. Very interesting season, a very interesting zodiac sign. As always, you're captain of your own ship. Um, Feel free to take any other shapes, make any adjustments mentally, physically, energetically that support your practice. So if maybe that theme doesn't really vibe with you today, that's completely okay. You make all of the decisions about what happens on the four corners of your mat. Um, that being said, we will be coming into some heart openers, getting into the hips a bit. So I'd recommend having a couple of blocks and a blanket handy, maybe something to pad the knee. We'll be coming into dragon, which for me, dragon pose, that's one of the most challenging yin shapes. But I think sometimes, to find a little transformation, maybe we need to utilize the heat of effort and embrace some things that maybe are a little bit challenging. As always, you can come out of a shape at any time. You can make an adjustment at any time. You're not bound to any one shape at any time throughout this practice. We will get started in a comfortable seat. Whenever you're ready, make your way there. For me, I'm going to choose to be seated on a blanket over the backs of my calves, just to give the knees a little bit of room to breathe so we're not putting too much pressure on that area of the body. And take a moment to pause. Pause doing. Pausing effort, aside from the effort it may take to stay. You're welcome to close down the eyes or soften the gaze here if it helps bring the awareness inward. And throughout this practice, I invite you to embrace the flow of water in a calm and soothing way, allowing the energy physically or otherwise to flow with ease throughout the body, throughout the mind. Simply by embracing each moment, perhaps as an unknown, and turning towards ourselves with a little bit of softness. We'll take a deep breath in and out together here. Inhaling through the nose. And exhaling out the mouth. Soften the jaw by bringing that awareness to the space between the teeth, allowing the tongue to rest comfortably at the bottom of the mouth without force. And seeing if that has an impact on any gripping in the body. Perhaps we can gently unwind here. Allow this next hour to be a transformation in and of itself. Maybe who we are as we step onto our mat. It's a little bit different as we step off of our mat. And can we find comfort in those moments of transformation and change by coming home to the breath? Slowing it down, extending the breath, allowing this to regulate the nervous system in the presence of sensations, physical and otherwise. I'll take one more deep breath in and out here, maybe with the hands together at the heart, Anjali Mudra, joining the two sides of the body, of the mind. Deep breath in, pausing at the top, embracing this fullness, and exhaling, embracing this release. Can release the palms, flutter the eyes open, come back to the physical surroundings, and we'll move into our supported fish. So taking a bolster is what I'd recommend. Or if you don't have a bolster, that's completely okay. You can use a blanket rolled up like a little burrito, or maybe you have a couple of blocks handy that you'd like to place, one underneath the skull and one just where the tips of the shoulder blades kind of begin, and making your supported fish work for you in the shape of your body from there. Keeping in mind there's no goalpost shapes here, no finish line. You do what works for you and leave the rest. When you're ready, recline down onto your support of choice. We'll be here for about 4 minutes. You're welcome to keep the legs long. Maybe place a blanket underneath the knees or over the abdomen for a little nervous system regulation. Or you can take the feet together, knees wide, for your bound ankle legs. Bringing in awareness to breath as it moves through the body, blooming the lungs. Maybe resting the arms, the hands, wherever feels supportive, natural. And just breathe here. Inviting a little softness, melting the armor of the heart space. A little more with every breath. Take another breath or two here. If you have the knees wide, feet together, you can use the hands to gently draw the knees back towards the midline. We'll all bend the knees, plant the feet, press into the palms, the forearms, tuck the chin to lift or roll to one side. Make your way back to an upright position. Moving right into our next shape, our caterpillar shape, another transformative kind of creature, our caterpillar. Take your blanket or a pillow and bring it underneath the knees, or you can use it to lift the hips here. And if you do have a bolster or a rolled up blanket, you can take it over the knees, over the legs. Always an option to keep the knees really generously bent here. When you're ready, sit up nice and tall. Maybe lift the heart. And on an exhale, lead with the heart as the navel draws in and we elongate the tail, coming forward just until sensation becomes therapeutic and sustainable. We won't be here for quite as long as our supported fish. You're welcome to let the head dangle. Or if you'd like, you can come into this little cocoon shape, maybe bringing a block on the top of your bolster, allowing it to rest the forehead. Maybe bringing in awareness to the back body, backs of the legs, and keeping in mind the quiet strength of the caterpillar. We all know how beautiful a butterfly can be, but rarely we acknowledge the transformation of the caterpillar to the cocoon, soft, dark safety, embracing what comes next without judgment. Find another breath cycle or two here in your caterpillar shape. Begin to press back up, gently stacking the bones of the spine, maybe letting the head lift up last. You're welcome to take a neck circle or two. Take your props off to one side towards the top of your space. Make sure you still have them handy. Bend into the knees. Maybe windshield side to side or pedal through the feet. And with the left leg long, bend into your right knee. You're welcome to take your blanket and place it underneath the seat once more. And cross your right foot over to the outside edge of your left leg. You can always keep it on the inside as well. Just whatever feels more supportive. And give your right knee a little hug with the left elbow. Find an inhale to get nice and long here. Use your exhale to soften the belly. Allow the ribs to rotate towards the right, maybe taking the right hand behind the body, moving into a twist here. Wringing out the spine, like wringing out a sponge. Allowing what no longer serves to leave with the exhale. Softening the left leg, the toes. Using just the guidance of your left arm, hugging your right knee to hold yourself here. Maybe the right hand on the earth helps keep us upright. Bring softness where you can. And deepen the breath. Begin to unravel back through center. Finding a counter twist to the left, maybe tensing up onto the fingertips. Being gentle here, noticing sensations along this journey. And come back to center. Extend the right leg long. And hug your left knee in. Moving right into our twist on the second side. So maybe left foot to the inside of the right leg. Maybe you stamp it over to the outside. Give your left knee a little squeeze with your right elbow. Not cranking the spine. Maybe we'd like to pause here. Find a deep breath in to lift the heart. On your exhale, soften into your twist, wringing out the old. Noticing where we are gripping in the body. We're about halfway through the second side. Continue to invite softness, gentle awareness of the breath as it eases in and out. And turn toward yourself with that softness, recognizing transformation or wringing out of the old as an act of love. Another breath or two here. Begin to unravel slow and steady back through center, taking your counter twist to the right, steadying the breath. We'll uncross the legs. You can bend the knees just to shift forward to a tabletop shape. We'll go ahead and set ourselves up for our dragon. So it might feel good, I know it does for me, to have something to pad one of the knees, since we'll be here for about 5 minutes in our dragon shape. So probably the longest hold we'll have. So for me, I have this little stuffed animal. I like to place it underneath one knee. Great option. You can also use a blanket. And we'll start in our tabletop shape. And take the right foot forward to either the outside of your right hand, maybe reaching for our blocks just to bring the earth up to meet the hands, seeing how it feels here, placing anything you might like to have underneath the left knee. You can also frame the blocks, frame the right foot with your blocks, maybe coming up onto your tall blocks. This is also a wonderful place to explore. And continue to breathe here, noticing where tension or gripping may arise in the physical or the energetic body. And meet this fire of transformation with the breath in your dragon shape. Noticing if the tongue has started to do some backflips in the mouth, kindly soften it to the bottom and bring that awareness to the space between the whole top row and the whole bottom row of teeth. This can be a really helpful touchstone in hip openers to soften any tension or gripping. And I invite you to notice what it would feel like to trust your own unfolding here in this shape. Taking what you need as the pose progresses and evolves. just past the halfway point. Maybe we've lowered to the forearms, flying low in our dragon. Maybe the bottom of the right foot begins to peel up off the earth, and the right knee begins to fall open, expanding your wing, your dragon shape. Come back to the breath and breathe all the way down to the bowl of your pelvis. Last few cycles of breath here. Begin to tuck the left toes, lift up onto the palms. If you come down to the forearms, gently bring your right foot back to meet the earth and hinge the hips back slowly, lengthening through the right leg. Pressing into the earth, take your right foot back. And from here, you can take some circles with one or both knees. Opening through the hip, just lubricating that area once more. Or you also have an option here to take it up and back to downward facing dog if that's where you'd like to be. Just for a breath or two. Or circle the hips. And we'll find our dragon shape on the second side. So coming back to your tabletop from wherever you landed. And step the left foot to either the inside of the hands if you want to frame the leg, or maybe to the outside of your left hand. Taking a moment to embrace any uniqueness of this side of the body. Maybe it's profoundly different in some way, maybe not so much. And take a moment up nice and tall, with some length in the spine. Whatever height feels supportive with your blocks. And then invite some softness, noticing where the shape takes you. Using the pose to get into the body versus the body to get into the pose. Leaving aside any agenda we may have for this shape on this day. And allowing stillness, softness, the pull of gravity to be our guide. Embracing what comes next with a steady breath. Another breath or two here, soft and easy. Begin to press up onto the palms gently. Replant the left foot if it peeled up and open. And begin to hinge the hips back slowly. And take the left toes back, coming back to your tabletop shape. Maybe find a round of cow-cat. Or you always have an option to take it up and back to your downward facing dog, maybe with some generously bent knees, finding a little modified variation. Pedaling it out, mindful not to excite the muscles too much so we can stay in our yin practice. Nourishing the joints, ligaments, plastic tissues of the body. And when you're ready, you can release and find a comfortable seat with the legs out wide, as wide as you'd like them to be. Maybe sitting on a blanket, if that feels good. Just to invite a little bit of space in the hips and length in the spine. And we can take a couple of blocks out in front. If that feels good, and we'll move into our dragonfly shape. Another one of my favorite creatures. And if you have a bolster, it might be nice to build a little shelf in front of you, a little Stonehenge, if you will, taking your bolster over your two blocks like a little shelf to rest forward. Keeping in mind we're hinging here, leaning forward with the heart. You can rest either hands on your bolster or maybe plant the palms on the earth or walk the hands out as far as feels good. Maybe resting the forehead in the palms, cradling the head here, inviting a moment of inwardness, a gentle reminder that Scorpio teaches that transformation happens in the dark, in stillness, in surrender. So maybe we embrace a little more of that here in this shape, breathing into the back body, maybe cupping the palms slightly over the eye sockets. Noticing how it feels to breathe here, to let go a little more with every exhale. Another breath or two here, wherever you've landed in your dragonfly shape. And you can begin to make your way back to an upright position, moving slow. Take your props, place them off to one side. Make sure you still have them in reach. And we'll take the fingertips behind the backs of the knees, gently draw the heels in just a bit. You can begin to knock the knees side to side. Just bring a little bit of life back to the hips, the backs of the legs. When you're ready, allow the knees to drape to the left, moving into our deer shape. If you're sitting on a blanket, feel free to adjust it so that we feel fully supported here, just filling the gap between your body and your mat, or whatever surface is beneath you. And from here, with your knees either 90-degree angles, or you can take the heels in a little bit further if that feels better for the knees. More of a pinwheel shape. And begin to crawl the fingertips over to the left, finding a twist here, our deer twist. Again, not forcing or cranking the spine. Maybe you begin to fold over the left thigh, walking the hands out. And also walk the hands out at more of a diagonal. And we'll be here for about 3 minutes. Continue to deepen the breath and soften the presence of sensation to allow a little bit of that transformative surrender as we wring out the spine, move our hips in a little bit of a different way. Bring a little bit of energy to the feet, maybe flexing gently, spreading the toes, walk the palms, the fingertips in, unwind through center. And take the knees up and over to the right, adjusting. And we'll find our deer shape on the second side. So again, maybe we'd like to have our heels a little bit further in or out in 90-degree angles. There's no better or worse shape you can make. It's just whatever feels therapeutic and sustainable. I'm going to go ahead and adjust so that I'm not with my back to y'all, but you feel free to stay as you are. And as you're ready, sit up nice and tall. Taking a deep breath in. And on your exhale, crawl the fingertips over to the right. So finding our deer shape and embracing this twist here, any amount. Maybe we'd like to crawl the fingertips out, hands kind of framing the right knee, or you can bring them around to the right. And from here, you also have an option to fold forward, if that feels good. Keeping in mind anything that could be considered painful or overwhelmingly sensational or sharp. That's not yoga. It's just the body giving us a gentle hello to make an adjustment, a gentle invitation to make an adjustment. Allow the breath to be your guide here, its depth and its quality. And find softness and presence without judgment. Begin to walk your palms in. If you'd walked them out, and gently unravel back through center. Moving slow. And again, we'll flex into the feet. Find some windshield wipers. Maybe plant the palms behind the body. Taking some deep conscious breaths here. We'll make our way to a reclined position. First, reaching for a blanket and folding it up maybe 2, maybe 3 times. And we're going to use our blanket in our pontoon shape. So kind of a variation of our supported bridge. If you want this to be a little bit more restorative or just provide kind of a gentle lift of the hips, feel free to fold your blanket maybe 2 times. or you can choose to fold it a little bit more, have it a little bit higher. Just making something softer that will really conform to the back body so that we can stretch the legs out long and take a moment to really integrate some of this work that we've done along the front of the body, along the back of the body. So make your way down to a reclined position. Have your blanket nearby. Bend into the knees and lift the hips just enough to slide your blanket underneath. Not a huge lift here. Snuggling the shoulder blades beneath the back body. And if you'd like to keep the knees bent, you're more than welcome to do so. Or you can kick the legs long, maybe even reach the arms up overhead for pontoon. Keeping in mind anything sharp or pinching in the low back or the hips. You want to use that as an opportunity to make an adjustment. Bring the earth up to meet you. Making this shape a little bit more gentle in whatever way feels good. And we'll let what has transformed settle like calm waters, like a soft pebble reaching the bottom of clear, cool water and settling into stillness there. Begin to bend into the knees if you had the legs stretched out long. Bring the palms back down to frame the hips. And on an inhale, gently lift the tail just enough to release your blanket. Maybe rolling it down towards the backs of the knees. Allowing it to rest there and hugging the knees in towards the chest. Finding this reclined child's pose or seed shape. Maybe bringing a gentle sway side to side. And when you're ready, you can kick the legs out long to rest the backs of the knees on your blanket. Or if you'd prefer a corpse pose shape without anything behind the knees, feel free to remove it. Maybe use your blanket as a little bit of nervous system regulation, a gentle pressure over the abdomen. Rest the hands on the body or at either side. And gently close the eyes, embracing a moment of rest here, of integration. Noticing what has shifted from when we first rolled out our mat to this moment. And allowing that to gently settle in, to digest the nutrients of this practice here in your rest shape. Trusting that within us, something perhaps has shifted for the better without us even having to name that thing. It's more than okay to have it be unknown. Allow the body to embrace its own heaviness, softening the joints. Trusting the surface beneath will come up to support you here throughout your rest. And the next time you hear my voice, I will be guiding you out. You are welcome to stay in your rest shape for as long as you'd like. But if you're ready to take this practice off the mat and into the next chapter of your day, I invite you to deepen the breath. Bring in awareness back to air on your skin. Open and close the jaw. Wiggle fingers and toes. Stretch out long. Taking a deep breath into the ribs. Rolling the wrists and ankles. On an exhale, hug the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself one more squeeze. And gently make your way to one side or the other. Pausing, head pillowed by the bicep. A moment of grounding, of acknowledgement in your fetal shape, the original asana. Another asana of transformation and the shape that connects us all. And perhaps giving each other a gentle reminder we never have to pass through change alone. We always have each other and the breath. You can make your way to a comfortable seat with the gaze soft or the eyes still closed down. Join the thumbs together at the heart. We can take a cycle of breath together to celebrate this hour spent in community, doing yoga, and honor the effort it took to make it here. Maybe not just to the four corners of your mat, but to this moment. Scorpio season invites us into the depths, the parts of ourselves we usually keep tucked away. This is a season of transformation, and not the kind that happens on the surface or overnight, but the deep alchemy that begins when we slow down enough to feel and honor where we are in this moment. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Pause at the top. Embrace this fullness, this new beginning. And exhale out the mouth, sigh it out, send it out. Embracing this release, space for softness. Thank you for sharing your time and your practice, not only with me, but with each other. It's always such a gift to me to be able to be here and guide you through this practice, breath by breath, season by season. So thank you. I appreciate your presence. Be well. Thank you so much again for being here. I hope you enjoyed this practice. We did do a lot of balancing shapes with the kidney and bladder meridians. So super important after any yoga practice, a yin practice, but especially a practice where we're dealing with those kinds of meridians that are responsible for flushing the body out by way of releasing fluids that just no longer are vibing with what we got going on. So go ahead, rehydrate, do something kind and soft for yourself, and I'll see you again next time. Again, my name is Jordan, and I'm here, same time, same place for Yin.